DMS. And welcome you on your first day. You must be all very excited. So we'll be taking you throughout our 3 floors of this office for the next 30-40 minutes, introducing you to all the various spaces, facilities throughout the 3 floors, introduce you to which teams sit where. Because at this office, all teams sit within sort of their neighborhoods. You'll hardly ever find somebody sitting separate from the main team. So I'll show you where all the different teams sit throughout the floors. Because typically, after the office tour, once you're assimilated in your team, unless you have a specific reason to be on this floor or another floor, you might generally not spend too much time. So it's good for you to kind of understand what facilities we have around the office, know how you can utilize them, and what's available to you. Alright, since we're here already, before we move on to this first half of this floor, I'll explain this area here is what we refer to as our pan floors. Some floors have more pantries than others, which you'll see a little bit later. But essentially, all the pantries are similarly equipped, so it's just a matter of finding which one's closest to where you are, which is the most convenient. So all pantries have refrigerators in them. People like to bring in their lunches in the morning, put them in the fridge, and then heat them up at lunchtime, because all pantries have microwave ovens. Some pantries have steam ovens as well. So you see some people have their lunches in here. Soft drinks are also in every every refrigerator. Those are for you to enjoy as much as you like, free of charge, as well as milks. So all pantries, all fridges have the same selection of soft drinks as well as the same selections of milk. Milks are there typically because all pantries have automatic coffee machines. If you're like me and not too particular about what style of coffee you like, you just want an espresso in the morning or just a black coffee, all pantries have these automatic coffee machines. You can quickly make a coffee without having to go downstairs for something a little bit more special, which I'll show you in a little bit. One thing to note is that each coffee machine has a slight different variety of beans, just so that there's a little bit more variety in terms of flavors. So over time, you might be able to go around to different machines, taste the different beans, and see which one you like most. Because, for example, classic is what you'd expect classic, but typically these beans on the left are a little bit more fruity, a little bit more sour tasting, so you might like that. Last thing to note for the coffee machines, you'll notice for the coffee types, there's an L and R next to each type. That doesn't stand for large or regular, that stands for left or right. So that's how you select between the beans that you want to use. You learned something?
Yeah, of course. I forgot about the bean selection.
I know.
Exactly.
So that means you don't drink this coffee much.
I don't drink coffee.
Okay. All pantries have very clearly labeled drawers where you'll find pretty much everything that you need, whether it's water glasses, coffee cups, tea bags and sugar, cutlery, tableware. So if you're getting the takeaway lunch, you can just skip out on the disposable cutlery, reduce the waste, and we have all the cutlery here for you to use, as well as plates, things like that in here. And this would be the water dispenser, hot and cold water, still water. These are in all the pantries as well as throughout the floors. Over time you'll find which water dispenser is closest to you, but at the very least, all pantries have that for you. And then every floor has one pantry with a sparkling water dispenser. So this would be the sparkling water dispenser for 17th floor, and I'll show you where they are on the 16th and 15th floor. And then lastly, so if you were to use any water glasses or mugs, once you're done, we just want to keep our areas quite neat and tidy, not to clutter our sinks. So you'll notice there are plastic cardboard boxes next to every sink. So after you use something, give it a quick rinse, dump them into here, and then our pantry assistants will clean them properly for you. So let's try to keep our areas relatively neat and tidy. Yeah, I think they moved here. I just noticed. I just noticed. So in addition to the free drinks in the fridges, each pantry also has a selection of cookies, biscuits, crackers for you to enjoy as well. Some might be displayed in the pantry, some might be tucked away in drawers like this, but it'll be clearly labeled.
Okay, sure.
Just behind you all here, the vending machine. Whilst those drinks and snacks are free, these are not quite free, but close enough. These are subsidized by the company, so essentially they're half the price of what you would find at a 7-Eleven or a store outside. So typically if you're a little bit hungry, looking for a snack, before going out to 7-Eleven, take a look at our vending machines because you can't keep the prices. And each machine has a slight different variety of items as well. So over time you'll find a machine that has the snacks or things that you typically look for. Moving on just this way. this area here, the lab. So this is our version of the IT Genius Bar. They are available throughout our working day every day, and they're basically our on-site technology support. So if you have any needs or any system issues, or your password isn't working, or you're unable to log on, things like that, you just come up to them, and they'll be able to help you on spot and ad hoc. So they're super awesome and always very helpful, and here throughout our working days. We can move on this way. Teams that sit on this half of this floor, and then we'll just move this way. So essentially, anytime there's a new store being developed or constructed, or an existing store that's being renovated, that's what this team takes care of from the design phase, all through the construction phase, and then we move in. This corporate office, which we moved into just over 2.5 years ago, just about 2.5 years ago, they also oversaw the whole renovation phase of that as well. The neighbors on this side of the floor, this is where you would find your HR business partners, or essentially anyone else in the HR function, because this is where this is the home of the HR team. So on this side of the floor, we've got talent development as well as human resources. Let me go that way. Yeah, that changed a lot. This has changed a lot.
Yeah, this is the
Okay. I'll just assume it's marketing. Okay. So whilst that is our on-site technology support, the rest of our technology team at this office sits in this space here. So these colleagues are focused more on regional global system support. So we may not have as much interaction with them on a daily basis as we would with those colleagues there. For those of you who don't know, we have a secondary, smaller corporate office in Singapore, which is where the majority of our technology as well as finance teams sit. So these colleagues will be liaising a lot more with the colleagues in Singapore. And there is actually a small pantry in this space here if you were ever in this area. A newly formed team that's just in the process of moving in, the Accelerate team, which is one of our mega projects for the next year or two, that occupies this space here. Is this marketing? And then essentially the rest of this floor from here on around the corner will be our marketing function. So all the various functions of marketing will sit in this space here.
No, this is FIT. Marketing.
So that's over here, and then it extends all the way down to the end. So this will be all marketing space over here. I'll just take a moment to point out these phone booths that we have behind us. In your IT induction after this, you'll learn how to book meeting rooms, which are essentially any rooms with those tablets outside them, bookable meeting rooms. Those are if you need to book a room in advance or have a particular need to have a group of people together in a quiet space. Alternatives to meeting rooms would be these phone booths, which are on every floor. These are non-bookable, so these are first come first serve, and they're essentially a quiet place that if you need to pop in for a call or listen to something out loud and not want to disturb our colleagues, it's quite an open floor plan. So we try to keep noise to a minimum. So if you do have some noisy conversations or need a quiet place, meeting rooms or alternatively phone booths. Just take a moment to point out this beautiful area by the window. Beautiful, especially on a sunny day like today. This will be one of the first communal spaces that you'll see. We've got several communal spaces like this throughout the office. This one happens to be the one right by the window. Beautiful, comfortable sofa seating. Just because this is in the marketing area on 17th floor doesn't mean that those of you who don't work here can't use it. All of our communal spaces are meant for everybody to use at any time, so you're all welcome to use them and encouraged to use them whenever you feel comfortable with it. If you want to check your emails by the window in the morning, or read a few documents, or need some alone time, you're welcome to use all these spaces, and you're not tied or fixed to your desk. So this happens to be the nicest, especially at lunchtime. It's quite popular, but whenever you feel like, you're welcome to use these spaces. This floor happens to have 3 pantries. Like I mentioned earlier, more or less all the equipment is the same. This one happens to have steam oven, whereas the other pantry on the other side did not have that. Tuesdays are our fruit days, so fresh fruit is delivered for everybody on every floor. So for those of you on 17th floor, this pantry here is where the fruits will be delivered, usually mid-morning. And I'll show you where the other fruit delivery points are on the other floors. Pretty much covers 17th. Red Dot Lounge. It's called the Red Dot Lounge because there's a big red DFS logo as you arrive through the doors every morning or afternoon. And lounge because that's typically how we use this space. You can tell by the beer taps that this is it's quite a social space. So those beer taps are actually on throughout the day. We leave it up to you to be responsible, but those are available. You are able to drink from that whenever you'd like. But typically the space is used more for social gatherings, teams coming together for celebrations, whether it's welcome drinks, farewell drinks, birthday drinks, things like that. So this is it's quite a social space, especially in the late afternoons. Sometimes on Thursday, Fridays, people get together here for a happy hour, so it's a good place for new joiners to kind of meet people from the rest of the company where they might not otherwise have the opportunity. So that's typically how this space is used in the afternoon. In the morning, so Monday to Thursdays, we have Fat Tummy Bakery, which is a local bakery shop who sets up her selection of baked goods for our employees to purchase and enjoy at their convenience. So that's a nice thing to have in the mornings from Monday to Thursday. Behind us, this is another communal space like what we saw upstairs by the window. It doesn't have the same view as the 17th floor space does. But the benefit of this space is that you can have a little bit more noisy conversation or a little bit more group work just because there's nobody sitting or working right nearby. Lunchtime as well is also very popular in this space. And moving on to the back of this room, these would be the two boardrooms, so boardroom A and boardroom B. This happens to be the biggest room that we have in this office. And just because they're labeled the boardrooms doesn't mean we cannot book them or use them. We can use them and book them just like any other meeting room. It's just that when our senior leadership team does get together for their meetings or their calls with parents, they'll typically use this room just because the size and the facility is available. But otherwise, any other time, like right now, it's available for 43 minutes. Any one of us could use that before the next scheduled meeting. We just move on this way. All day. There is a mini pantry here. For those of you who might be having lunch, there's a small pantry with a little recessed refrigerator here if you ever want to drink or anything in this space. We'll go on to this side of the floor. As you can probably tell by the selection of products on display, this is where our beauty functions sit. So anything related to global beauty happens in this area over here. This is the first pantry that we're encountering on this floor, and it's also where the sparkling water dispenser for the 16th floor happens to be. This floor kind of has a little bit more of the facilities for this floor just because, sorry, this side of the floor. You'll see why when we reach the other side, but this side has the sparkling water, the vending machine, as well as the phone booths. So none of these facilities are available on the other side of this floor. We have an extension of the beauty team. This would be the pricing and promotion team. And then this team that sits in this space here would be the Spirit, Wine, Tobacco, Food team, SWTF. And actually, just in that space over there, just on that corner, you'll see the tablet space. That's actually a massage room, a massage chair room, a nap room, which is bookable on our system, on the booking platform. So if you ever needed a few minutes to kind of zone out or just needed a bit of massage, that room is available for anybody to use at any time. You go this way. Whilst that half of the floor is merchandising, this half of the floor is much more numbers or analytical teams, many smaller teams sort of spread out. So, for example, in this space here, you have got legal and compliance. Around that corner, you have treasury. In this space here, you'll have corporate finance, data and AI, compliance, strategy and research, business development, kind of all spread out through this space in this area over here. So you'll notice this window side space is not nearly as open as what we saw upstairs in the marketing area. That's because this floor has many more private offices for VP levels and above. This area happens to have most of our regional presidents. The office at the end with the door closed, that's Benjamin's office, our CEO. And that would be Chang's office, our CFO. So they happen to occupy a lot of inside space, so it's not as open as the floors above or below. Just go back this way. No, I think because they're using these screens here, these three in particular, always display store performance analytics up to the minute, and they'll rotate between different stores every couple of minutes. So it gives you an idea of where we are to budget, or where each store is to budget, which products are doing particularly well, which brands are doing particularly well. So it gives you a good idea of how the business is doing. These three screens always have this on display. If you turn around and look at the screen up on the wall, so there's typically, no matter where you're sitting, you generally have a line of sight to one of the screens on the wall. Those screens will rotate between this type of analytical data, as well as more employee-specific information, whether it be campaigns going on, or staff sales, or anything employee experience related. Just so it's always good to keep an eye on those screens to kind of know what's going on. In addition to my DFS. So we're in this sort of hot and humid corridor for two reasons. One would be for these lifts here. These are the cargo lifts that service the entire building from the loading bay. So if you have any large bulky items or any vendors delivering things to you, this is where they would be received, because our building is very strict about who can use the passenger lifts. Essentially only we can use the passenger lifts. Anything else being delivered has to come through these lifts here. Because it's technically a public space, the doors are locked from the inside. So you'll have to tap your access card on that blue sensor there to be able to get back into the office if you were in this area. The second reason we're in this space is actually, for those of you who sit on this half of every floor, this is probably a shortcut to the washroom. Because once you come through here, you'll arrive right at the washroom area. This also happens to be the main fire escape should we ever need to evacuate the building. You're right at the washroom zone. The men's room will always be on your right. Ladies' room will always be directly opposite. The ladies will require access card just to tap on the sensor over there to unlock the door and enter the ladies' washroom. In the exact same position has one of these. These are labeled the executive toilets, but they're not just for executives, they're for anybody, and they're not just toilets, they're actually shower rooms. These require your access card to enter, but essentially every floor has a shower facility available should you ever need it, whether you go out for a run at lunchtime or just need a place to freshen up. Each floor has a shower room available, first come, first serve. Yeah, elevator control, since we're here. Each of your access cards is default programmed to the floor that you sit on. So for example, I'm on 17, and when I arrive in the morning, I tap at the turnstile downstairs. It'll display the letter of the corresponding elevator that will take me to 17 and to your respective floors. Let's say I don't want to go to 17, I want to go straight to 15. So how it works is I'll still tap on the turnstile, I'll enter, and then look for the same terminal as we have here on either side. Once you hold your access card on the sensor, the options that we have access to appear. So if I just press 15, elevator H will take me to 15 instead of 17 directly. If I'm leaving the office, let's say lunchtime or at the end of the day, just wanting to go down to the ground floor, there's no need to tap your access card here. All you do is just press ground floor, and that H will take me to the ground floor. So try to stand in front of the elevator that you're waiting for, because there's no sound to indicate it's arrived. You'll see here that the door is just about to open very quickly, and it'll close very quickly without any notification. It's always good to have your access card with you at all times, whether your ladies are going to the washroom, coming in back to the shortcut, or back into the office from any lift landing, because we need it for security reasons to get back into the office. That's the 16th floor, and we'll go down to the 15th floor. So now we arrive on the 15th floor. You'll notice that even though we have 3 floors at this office, 15th floor is our official address. So we do ask that if you have any guests or visitors coming to meet you, that they don't come to your floors directly. They come here to the 15th floor to the reception to do the proper registration. And a little bit, I'll show you why this floor is more conducive to external guests and visitors. Yeah, any packages that are received on your behalf by a reception will be available here for you to collect by a reception. So this half of the floor, just like the floor above, is entirely made up of teams under the merchandising pillar. The team that we see right here, these are all under the fashion team. So we've got fashion over here. In that corner over there, we have a relatively new team called the NBA's New Business Acceleration team. And then around this, we have the WJA, which is the watches, jewelry, and accessories. So we've got fashion, new business acceleration, and watches, jewelry, and accessories in this space here. On this half of the floor, we have teams that support the merchandising functions in terms like, for example, we've got logistics, we've got replenishment and allocation, merchandising finance, business process transformation, master data management. Essentially, these teams, in a nutshell, aid the merchandising teams in terms of determining what the right product is, what the right quantity is, and how to get those products from point A to B to C, so from vendor to warehouse to store. They're sort of spread out throughout the space over here. Here we've got another lovely window side communal space like we had up on 17. Also great for lunch, great for team meetings, team activities, teamwork over in this space just because of how nice and bright it is. The phone booths for this floor actually are on this side as well. And there are a few meeting rooms around this space here, but if the area up on 17 is occupied and you can't get a window side space, this is a great alternative. We can go back this way. So now we arrive at the last part of the office. This would be what we refer to as Cafe 1. For those of you who aren't aware, Urban Coffee Roaster is a chain of coffee shops around Hong Kong, and we actually have our very own Urban Coffee Roaster in the office for us, and it's completely free, pretty much all day, every day. They open at they open at 8 in the morning, and they're here until 5 in the evening every day. And essentially, they're our very own personal coffee shop. There's only one rule though, is that you bring your own cup, whether it's your own personal cup or a cup from a different pantry, because they don't have any cups here for you. For those of you who may not be particularly coffee lovers, there are alternatives like teas, juices, and on occasion they'll have some seasonal specials for you to enjoy. You'll basically be placing your own order through the tablet screen over here, configuring the drinks however you like, entering your name, and then once you're done, a ticket pops up. Right now it's quiet. They'll be doing your order directly, but especially in the mornings from 9 to 10, or in the afternoons after lunch from 2 to 3, it's quite a peak period. There's a lot of people here. It's quite a long line. So therefore, with that ticket, you'll use this number tray system. So you place your cup and ticket and cup on the next available number. So if 1 through 6 are occupied, you can place your ticket and cup on number 7 and have an idea of how many orders are ahead of you, so you don't have to stand here and wait. You can go to the washroom, check a few emails, have a chat with somebody in the space here, and then once your orders are completed, they'll be placed over here for you to collect whenever you're available. You might notice that this floor doesn't have pantries like the other floors do. That's just because of the way the floor is laid out. So actually the pantry for this floor is concentrated in this space here. So there's actually a little bit more of everything. There's a couple more refrigerators, there's 2 vending machines here. So if you're on this floor and you're looking for a place to eat your lunch or soft drinks, this is where you would find them, in this pantry over here.
Sparkling water.
It's actually in fashion. Thank you, I missed that. It's in the fashion space. It's like a water area. This area here, just behind the cafe area, just comfortable sofa seating, great place for casual catch-ups. A lot of times in the mornings, coffee catch-ups happen over here. So it's a very social and casual space to hang out, whether you want to do some individual work, group work, just catch up with somebody. This is a great spot to do that. And lastly, I want to introduce these rooms to you. So you'll notice by the numbers on the door, there are actually 4 individual meeting rooms here, and each number denotes a different meeting room. These are, as standard, it's set up as 4 meeting rooms. If you come this way, you'll see that it's set up just like this. And each room is identical to this. You can see up to 6. Each room will have a TV screen with the video conferencing facilities. But the great thing about this space is all these partitions are actually completely flexible. So you can turn these 4 individual rooms into 1 large enclosed room, 2 medium-sized rooms, whether you might need a space for a team lunch, birthday celebration, meeting space, workshops. Instead of having to look outside, we actually have the spaces available inside in our office. And the great thing about this whole space as well is that these partitions as well can be opened up completely. So this entire space can be opened up, furniture is removed, and then we can have a big open space where typically we can accommodate 200 to 300 people standing. Or when we have our town halls in this space, we have about 120 people seated in this space in rows. So our senior leadership team typically is up front of the LED wall giving the presentation. The rest of us are seated in this space here, and then the rest of the DFS world tunes in via webcast, because there's a webcam that pops down from up there and then streams whatever happens in this space to the rest of the DFS world. The great thing about these rooms is that anybody can book them and configure them and utilize them for whatever need that you may have or your team may have. The important thing is just to ensure that you've booked the rooms that you need at the time that you need it, instead of assuming you can just show up and then they'll be available, because they're obviously in very high demand. So once you've been able to secure the rooms that you need, just let the reception team know how you need them configured, whether it's partitions opened up, furniture completely removed, etc., and then they'll have the facilities team arrange that for you. So just make sure you book the rooms and then just let the reception team know. Other than that pretty much comprises our whole office. Any questions? And we're done. Got it? Usually it's 30 to 40 minutes, depending on if there's questions or not. 30 to 40 minutes.
It's a good refresher because there are a lot of things that